What would you do if your parents left you just $1 in their will while your siblings inherited everything, only to discover 3 days later that you were actually a major shareholder worth millions? This is the incredible true story of Victoria Chen, and what happened next will change how you think about family, success, and the power of quiet determination forever. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning from. If this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. I am here to tell you about a woman who transformed being written out of her family's will into the foundation of an empire that would eventually dwarf everything her parents had built. This story proves that sometimes the greatest victories come from the most devastating defeats, and that true worth cannot be measured by what others choose to give you. Victoria Chen had always been the outlier in the prestigious Chen family of Portland, Oregon. At 31 years old, she worked as a customer service representative at Cascade Community Bank, earning $42,000 annually while living in a modest one-bedroom apartment on the east side of the city. Her family viewed this position as evidence of her fundamental lack of ambition and business acumen, particularly when compared to the achievements her two older brothers. The Chen family had built their reputation and fortune through Chen Holdings, a diversified investment company that her father, David Chen, had established 35 years earlier. Starting with a single commercial property purchase, David had methodically expanded the company into real estate development, small business financing, and strategic investments across the Pacific Northwest. The family business had grown to manage over $200 million in assets and had become synonymous with success in Portland's business community. Victoria's oldest brother, Marcus Chen, had followed the expected path by earning his MBA from Stanford and joining Chen Holdings as vice president of development at 28. He had demonstrated the kind of aggressive business instincts that their father admired, spearheading major commercial developments and maintaining the family's reputation for profitable investment. Marcus lived in a 4,000-square-foot home in the exclusive West Hills neighborhood and drove a Tesla Model S that served as a symbol of his success. The second brother, Jonathan Chen, had pursued law at Harvard before returning to Portland to establish Chen & Associates, a corporate law firm that specialized in business transactions and real estate law. His firm had grown to employ 12 attorneys and had become the preferred legal counsel for numerous prominent businesses throughout the region. Jonathan's success was measured not only by his professional achievements, but also by his marriage to Rebecca Morrison, daughter of a prominent local judge, and their residence in a restored Victorian mansion in the Pearl District. Victoria had disappointed her family's expectations from the beginning. After graduating with a degree in economics from Portland State University, she had declined her father's offer to join Chen Holdings in an entry-level position. Instead, she had chosen to work at Cascade Community Bank, explaining that she wanted to understand finance from the ground up before making decisions about her career direction. Her family interpreted this choice as evidence of her lack of confidence and ambition. The Chen family gatherings, which occurred monthly at the family's sprawling estate in Lake Oswego, had become exercises in subtle criticism and disappointed expectation. Victoria's mother, Linda Chen, would inevitably steer conversations toward her son's achievements while making pointed observations about Victoria's limited progress. Her father would offer periodic suggestions about opportunities within Chen Holdings that Victoria continued to decline, each refusal further confirming his assessment of her character. What the Chen family failed to understand was that Victoria had not chosen her position at Cascade Community Bank randomly or without purpose. She had identified the institution as one of the most strategically important financial organizations in the region, serving as the primary lender for small businesses and emerging entrepreneurs throughout Oregon and Washington. Her role in customer service provided her with unique access to information about business trends, emerging opportunities, and the financial challenges faced by growing companies. Victoria's approach to her work was methodical and strategic. She maintained detailed records of every business inquiry, loan application, and financial consultation that crossed her desk. She studied the patterns of successful businesses, identified the factors that contributed to failures, and developed comprehensive understanding of the regional economy that exceeded the knowledge of many senior executives. Her position allowed her to observe the financial landscape from a perspective that was both comprehensive and practical. During her 8 years at Cascade Community Bank, Victoria had processed thousands of loan applications, conducted hundreds of financial consultations, and developed relationships with entrepreneurs and business owners throughout the Pacific Northwest. She understood which industries were growing, which business models were sustainable, and which economic trends were likely to create opportunities for strategic investments. This knowledge had been acquired through daily exposure to real-world business challenges, rather than theoretical education. Victoria's colleagues at the bank respected her expertise and frequently sought her advice on complex financial matters. She had developed a reputation for being able to assess business proposals quickly and accurately, often identifying potential problems or opportunities that others had missed. Her supervisor, Margaret Williams, had repeatedly encouraged Victoria to pursue additional education or seek promotion within the banking industry, recognizing her exceptional analytical abilities and comprehensive understanding of business finance. The relationship between Victoria and her family had become increasingly strained as her brother's success became more pronounced and her own career appeared to stagnate. Family dinners were punctuated by well-meaning but patronizing advice about career advancement, suggestions for returning to school, and barely concealed expressions of disappointment about her choices. Victoria had learned to navigate these conversations with patience and diplomacy, deflecting criticism while maintaining family harmony. Victoria's father had made numerous attempts to integrate her into Chen Holdings, offering positions that would have provided immediate salary increases and social status within the family. Each offer had been declined politely but firmly, with Victoria explaining that she was not yet ready to make such a significant career transition. Her family interpreted these refusals as evidence of her fear of challenging work or her lack of confidence in her ability. The truth was that Victoria had been using her position at Cascade Community Bank to build something that her family could not yet comprehend. She had been quietly making strategic investments in small businesses and emerging companies, using her insider knowledge of the regional economy to identify opportunities that traditional investors had overlooked. Her investment portfolio had grown steadily over 8 years, funded by her modest salary and guided by her exceptional understanding of business fundamentals. Victoria's investment strategy was based on identifying undervalued companies with strong operational foundations and growth potential. She had developed relationships with dozens of entrepreneurs and business owners who had sought loans or financial guidance from Cascade Community Bank. When these businesses faced cash flow challenges or needed strategic investors, Victoria had been positioned to provide capital in exchange for equity stakes. Her investments were typically small by institutional standards, but significant in terms of their impact on growing businesses. The businesses in Victoria's portfolio included a food processing company that had grown from a single location to statewide distribution, a technology services firm that had expanded from 3 employees to over 50, and a specialty manufacturing company that had developed innovative products for the aerospace industry. Each investment had been carefully evaluated using criteria that Victoria had developed through her daily exposure to business operations and financial challenges. Victoria's approach to investing was characterized by patience, thorough analysis, and long-term perspective. She understood that building sustainable value required time and consistent effort, and she was willing to support her portfolio companies through challenging periods when traditional investors might have abandoned their position. Her involvement with these businesses extended beyond financial investment to include strategic guidance and operational support based on her comprehensive understanding of business fundamentals. The success of Victoria's investment strategy had been remarkable, though she had kept this information private from her family and colleagues. Her portfolio had grown to a value that exceeded her annual salary by a factor of more than 100. And several of her investments had achieved liquidity events that had provided substantial return. Victoria had reinvested these profits into additional opportunities, creating a compounding effect that had accelerated her wealth accumulation. Victoria's financial success had been achieved through disciplined saving, strategic investing, and exceptional market knowledge rather than inheritance or family connection. She had built her wealth by identifying and supporting businesses that created genuine value for their customers and communities. Her approach demonstrated that extraordinary success could be achieved through careful analysis, patient capital allocation, and strategic relationship building. The irony of Victoria's situation was that, while her family viewed her as the unsuccessful member who had failed to achieve their standards of success, she had actually built a more diversified and sustainable investment portfolio than Chen Holding. Her deep understanding of regional business trends, her relationships with successful entrepreneurs, and her proven ability to identify undervalued opportunities had positioned her as a significant force in the Pacific Northwest investment community. Victoria's success had been invisible to her family because she had chosen to measure progress differently than they did. While her brothers focused on titles, salaries, and social status, Victoria had concentrated on building actual wealth through strategic investments and business ownership. Her approach had been quieter but ultimately more effective in creating long-term financial security and independence. The Chen family's monthly gathering in December had been particularly difficult for Victoria. Her father had announced that Marcus would be assuming greater responsibility for Chen Holdings' strategic direction, while Jonathan had shared news about his firm's expansion into Seattle. The conversation had inevitably turned to Victoria's career, with her mother expressing concern about her daughter's apparent lack of ambition, and her father offering yet another opportunity to join the family business. Victoria had responded to these expressions of concern with her usual grace and diplomacy, explaining that she was satisfied with her current position and was continuing to learn about the financial services industry. Her family had interpreted this response as evidence of her limited aspirations and her acceptance of mediocrity. They had no understanding of the strategic empire that Victoria had been building through her work at Cascade Community Bank. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The funeral of David and Linda Chen 3 months later had been a watershed moment for the family. The unexpected car accident that had claimed both parents had shocked the Portland business community and had forced the Chen siblings to confront questions about the future of their family's legacy. The reading of the will had revealed the extent to which Victoria's parents had underestimated her potential and had excluded her from their vision of the family's future. Victoria's inheritance of $1 had been intended as a symbolic gesture, a final expression of her parents' disappointment in her choices and their assessment of her contribution to the family's success. Marcus had inherited controlling interest in Chen Holdings, while Jonathan had received the family's real estate investments and liquid assets. Victoria had been left with a token amount that was intended to communicate her relative value within the family structure. The emotional impact of receiving such a minimal inheritance had been profound for Victoria. Despite her independent success and financial security, the symbolic rejection represented by the $1 bequest had forced her to confront the reality that her parents had never understood or valued her accomplishment. The inheritance had been a final confirmation that her family had measured her worth by external appearances rather than actual achievements. Victoria's response to her minimal inheritance had been characteristic of her approach to other challenges throughout her life. Rather than expressing anger or pursuing legal remedies, she had accepted the situation with dignity and had begun planning her next steps. She understood that her parents' assessment of her value had been based on incomplete information and misguided criteria, and she was prepared to demonstrate the true extent of her capabilities and achievement. The 3 days following the reading of the will had been a period of reflection and preparation for Victoria. She had used this time to organize her financial records, review her investment portfolio, and consider how she might address the misconceptions that her family had maintained about her success. She had also begun to contemplate how she might use her accumulated wealth and business knowledge to create positive impact within her community. Victoria's story was about to enter a new phase, one that would reveal the true extent of her business acumen and challenge every assumption that her family had made about success, worth, and the nature of achievement. The woman who had been dismissed as the unsuccessful daughter was about to demonstrate that real success was measured, not by what others chose to give you, but by what you chose to build for yourself. The foundation of doubt that had characterized Victoria's relationship with her family was about to be transformed into the cornerstone of a revelation that would reshape their understanding of success, business, and the power of strategic thinking. Victoria's journey from perceived failure to recognized success would demonstrate that true worth cannot be inherited or bestowed by others, but must be earned through disciplined effort, strategic vision, and unwavering commitment to excellence. The Chen family's assessment of Victoria's potential had been based on superficial observations and conventional measurements of success. They had failed to recognize that their daughter had chosen a different path to achievement, one that prioritized substance over appearance and long-term value creation over short-term recognition. Victoria's story would prove that sometimes the greatest successes are built quietly, patiently, and with strategic purpose that others cannot yet comprehend. The stage was now set for a revelation that would transform not only Victoria's relationship with her family, but also their understanding of what it means to be truly successful. The $1 inheritance that had been intended as a final insult was about to become the catalyst for a demonstration of success that would dwarf everything her parents had built and redefine the meaning of achievement within the Chen family legacy. Victoria Chen's transformation from perceived family disappointment to strategic financial architect had not occurred through accident or luck. Her 8-year tenure at Cascade Community Bank represented a carefully orchestrated education in business fundamentals, market dynamics, and investment opportunities that traditional MBA programs could never have provided. While her family viewed her customer service position as evidence of limited ambition, Victoria had recognized the role as an unprecedented window into the regional economy's most critical financial decision. Cascade Community Bank occupied a unique position in the Pacific Northwest financial landscape. Unlike the major national banks that focused on large corporate clients, Cascade specialized in serving small businesses, emerging entrepreneurs, and community development projects throughout Oregon and Washington. This specialization meant that Victoria encountered a constant stream of innovative business proposals, growth strategies, and market opportunities that never reached the attention of traditional investment firms or venture capital organizations. Victoria's daily responsibilities required her to process loan applications, conduct initial financial assessments, and provide customer support for business banking services. However, she had transformed these routine duties into a comprehensive market research operation that provided insights into industry trends, emerging opportunities, and the operational challenges faced by growing companies. Her approach to customer service was distinguished by her genuine interest in understanding each client's business model, growth objectives, and competitive positioning. The first business that captured Victoria's strategic attention was Pacific Organic Solutions, a food processing company founded by Maria Rodriguez, a former restaurant chef who had developed innovative techniques for preserving organic produce. Maria had approached Cascade Community Bank seeking a $50,000 expansion loan to purchase additional processing equipment and expand her distribution capability. Her initial loan application had been declined by 2 larger banks due to concerns about market viability and operational scalability. Victoria had spent considerable time reviewing Maria's business plan, analyzing her financial projections, and understanding her competitive advantages in the growing organic food market. She had recognized that Pacific Organic Solutions addressed genuine consumer demand for high-quality organic products, while utilizing proprietary processing techniques that could provide sustainable competitive advantage. More importantly, Victoria had identified that Maria's conservative financial projections actually understated the company's growth potential. During their consultation meetings, Victoria had provided Maria with detailed feedback about her business plan, suggestions for improving her financial projections, and recommendations for positioning her loan application more effectively. She had also connected Maria with other Cascade clients who could provide valuable business guidance and potential partnership opportunities. This comprehensive support had helped Maria secure her expansion loan and had established the foundation for a strategic relationship between Victoria and Pacific Organic Solutions. Victoria's involvement with Pacific Organic Solutions had extended beyond the initial loan facilitation. She had maintained regular contact with Maria, providing ongoing business guidance and market insights based on her observations of similar companies in the food processing sector. When Maria faced cash flow challenges during her expansion phase, Victoria had offered to provide bridge financing in exchange for a small equity stake in the company. This arrangement had provided Maria with the capital she needed while giving Victoria her first significant investment opportunity. The success of Pacific Organic Solutions had exceeded even Victoria's optimistic projections. Within 3 years, the company had expanded from a single processing facility to statewide distribution throughout Oregon and Washington. Maria's innovative processing techniques had attracted attention from major grocery chains, leading to distribution agreements that had generated substantial revenue growth. Victoria's early investment had appreciated significantly, providing both financial returns and validation of her ability to identify undervalued business opportunities. The second company that had influenced Victoria's investment strategy was Cascade Technology Services, a small information technology firm founded by David Park, a former software engineer who had developed specialized solutions for healthcare organizations. David had approached Cascade Community Bank seeking working capital to support his growing client base and fund the development of new software applications. His business had demonstrated consistent profitability, but lacked the financial resources necessary to capitalize on emerging opportunities in healthcare technology. Victoria had recognized that Cascade Technology Services operated in a rapidly growing market segment, with significant barriers to entry and strong client retention characteristics. David's specialized knowledge of healthcare regulations and his established relationships with regional medical organizations provided competitive advantages that would be difficult for larger technology companies to replicate. Victoria had also identified that David's conservative approach to business expansion had actually positioned his company for sustainable long-term growth. Victoria's analysis of Cascade Technology Services had revealed that the company's financial challenges were primarily related to timing rather than fundamental business problems. David's clients typically required extended implementation periods before generating recurring revenue, creating cash flow gaps that strained the company's working capital. Victoria had proposed a structured financing arrangement that would provide David with the capital he needed while sharing in the company's future growth through equity participation. The partnership between Victoria and Cascade Technology Services had proven mutually beneficial. Victoria's financial support had enabled David to pursue larger client opportunities and develop more sophisticated software applications. Her business guidance, based on observations of successful technology companies, had helped David improve his operational efficiency and client management processes. The company's subsequent growth had generated substantial returns on Victoria's investment, while establishing her reputation within the regional technology community. Victoria's third significant investment opportunity had emerged through her work with Northwest Manufacturing Innovations, a specialty manufacturing company founded by Jennifer Walsh, a former aerospace engineer who had developed advanced composite materials for industrial application. Jennifer had approached Cascade Community Bank seeking expansion capital to scale her manufacturing operations and pursue opportunities in the aerospace and automotive industry. Victoria had immediately recognized the strategic value of Jennifer's technology and her deep understanding of advanced manufacturing processes. The composite materials that Jennifer had developed offered superior performance characteristics compared to traditional alternatives, while maintaining cost competitiveness for high-volume applications. Victoria had also identified that Jennifer's background in aerospace engineering provided credibility and technical expertise that would be essential for pursuing major industrial clients. The investment opportunity with Northwest Manufacturing Innovations had required more sophisticated financial structuring than Victoria's previous investment. Jennifer needed substantial capital for equipment purchases and facility expansion, amounts that exceeded Victoria's individual investment capacity. Victoria had addressed this challenge by organizing a small investment group that included several successful entrepreneurs from her network at Cascade Community Bank. This collaborative approach had provided Jennifer with the capital she needed while allowing Victoria to participate in a larger opportunity. Northwest Manufacturing Innovations had achieved remarkable success under Jennifer's leadership and with the support of Victoria's investment group. The company had secured major contracts with aerospace manufacturers and had established itself as a preferred supplier for specialized composite material. Jennifer's technical innovation and business acumen had driven rapid revenue growth, while maintaining the operational discipline necessary for serving demanding industrial clients. Victoria's investment had generated exceptional returns, while demonstrating her ability to identify and support transformational business opportunities. Victoria's investment strategy had been refined through her experience with these three companies and dozens of similar opportunities that had crossed her desk at Cascade Community Bank. She had developed a systematic approach to evaluating business opportunities that emphasized fundamental strengths, market positioning, and management capabilities, rather than conventional financial metrics or industry trends. Her framework prioritized companies with sustainable competitive advantages, experienced leadership teams, and clear paths to profitability and growth. The criteria that Victoria had developed for investment evaluation included assessment of market demand and competitive dynamics, evaluation of management team experience and commitment, analysis of operational efficiency and scalability potential, and review of financial structure and capital requirement. She had also developed informal networks of advisors and mentors who could provide specialized expertise in different industry sectors and business functions. Victoria's approach to supporting her portfolio companies had been distinguished by her hands-on involvement and practical business guidance. She had provided strategic advice based on her comprehensive understanding of business operations, facilitated introductions to potential clients and partners through her extensive network, and offered ongoing financial support during challenging periods or growth phases. Her involvement had extended beyond traditional investor relationships to include meaningful contributions to strategic planning and operational improvement. The success of Victoria's investment portfolio had been driven by her ability to identify opportunities that traditional investors had overlooked or undervalued. Her position at Cascade Community Bank had provided access to emerging companies during their early growth phases, before they had attracted attention from venture capital firms or private equity organizations. Her willingness to invest smaller amounts and provide comprehensive support had enabled her to secure favorable terms, while helping companies achieve their growth objectives. Victoria's financial returns had been substantial, with her portfolio value increasing dramatically over the 8 years since she had begun making strategic investments. Several of her portfolio companies had achieved liquidity events through acquisitions or strategic partnerships, providing Victoria with significant cash returns that she had reinvested in additional opportunity. Her success rate had been remarkably high, with more than 80% of her investments generating positive returns and several achieving exceptional performance. The growth of Victoria's investment portfolio had been accompanied by her emergence as a respected figure within the Pacific Northwest business community. Entrepreneurs and business owners had begun seeking her advice and investment participation based on her reputation for providing valuable strategic guidance and patient capital. Her success had attracted attention from other investors and business leaders who recognized her exceptional ability to identify and develop promising business opportunities. Victoria's networking activities had expanded significantly as her reputation had grown. She had begun participating in industry conferences, business forums, and investment groups, where she could share insights and identify new opportunities. Her contributions to these professional communities had been valued by other participants, who appreciated her practical perspective and proven track record of success. These relationships had provided Victoria with access to larger investment opportunities and strategic partnerships. The knowledge and experience that Victoria had accumulated through her work at Cascade Community Bank had positioned her as an expert in regional business dynamics and small business development. Her understanding of market trends, regulatory environments, and operational challenges had become valuable resources for entrepreneurs and established business leaders throughout the Pacific Northwest. She had begun providing consulting services to companies seeking strategic guidance and had been invited to serve on advisory boards for several growing organizations. Victoria's success had been achieved through disciplined effort, strategic thinking, and patient capital allocation rather than speculation or financial engineering. Her approach had emphasized creating genuine value for business owners and their communities while generating sustainable returns for her investment portfolio. She had demonstrated that exceptional investment performance could be achieved through careful analysis, selective participation, and meaningful support for portfolio companies. The irony of Victoria's situation had become increasingly apparent as her success had grown, while her family's perception of her achievements had remained unchanged. Her parents and brothers had continued to view her customer service position as evidence of limited ambition, completely unaware of the sophisticated investment operation that she had built through her work at the bank. Their focus on traditional measures of success had prevented them from recognizing the extraordinary value that Victoria had created through her unconventional approach. Victoria's financial independence had been achieved years before her parents' death, though she had chosen to maintain her position at Cascade Community Bank because of the strategic advantages it provided for identifying investment opportunities. Her lifestyle had remained modest despite her growing wealth, as she had prioritized reinvestment and portfolio growth over consumption or status displays. This discipline had accelerated her wealth accumulation while maintaining the privacy that had enabled her to operate without family interference or expectation. The foundation that Victoria had built through her strategic observation and investment activities had positioned her for the opportunities and challenges that would emerge following her parents' death and her minimal inheritance. Her proven ability to identify undervalued opportunities, develop successful businesses, and generate exceptional returns had prepared her for the next phase of her journey. The skills and knowledge that she had developed through 8 years of strategic observation would soon be tested in ways that would validate her approach and demonstrate the true extent of her capability. Victoria's story represented the power of strategic thinking, patient capital allocation, and disciplined execution in building sustainable wealth and business success. Her approach had proven that extraordinary achievements could be accomplished through careful observation, systematic analysis, and consistent effort rather than inherited advantages or conventional credentials. The foundation she had established would support everything that followed in her remarkable journey from perceived failure to recognized success. Victoria Chain's transition from strategic observer to active business architect reached its defining moment during her 6th year at Cascade Community Bank, when an opportunity emerged that would test every skill she had developed and every relationship she had cultivated. The catalyst arrived in the form of an urgent consultation request from Pinnacle Logistics Solutions, a regional transportation company facing an immediate crisis that threatened its survival and the livelihoods of over 300 employees. Pinnacle Logistics Solutions had been founded 12 years earlier by Robert Martinez, a former military logistics officer who had built the company into one of the Pacific Northwest's most reliable freight and distribution services. The company specialized in time-sensitive deliveries for manufacturing, healthcare, and technology companies across Oregon, Washington, and Northern California. Their reputation for operational excellence and customer service had enabled them to compete successfully against larger national carriers, while maintaining premium pricing for their specialized service. The crisis that brought Robert Martinez to Victoria's attention had developed rapidly over the preceding month. Pinnacle's primary financing partner, Westbridge Capital Partners, had unexpectedly terminated their credit facility following internal policy changes related to transportation industry exposure. This decision had left Pinnacle with insufficient working capital to meet payroll obligations and maintain their fleet of specialized vehicles. Without immediate financial relief, the company would be forced to cease operations within 2 weeks. Robert's initial meeting with Victoria had been arranged through Margaret Williams, Victoria's supervisor, who had recognized that the complexity of Pinnacle's situation required someone with deep understanding of business operations and financing alternatives. Robert had arrived at the bank with comprehensive financial statements, operational reports, and strategic plans that demonstrated both the severity of his immediate challenges and the fundamental strength of his business model. Victoria's analysis of Pinnacle Logistics Solutions revealed a company with exceptional operational performance metrics, strong customer relationships, and sustainable competitive advantages, but with a capital structure that had become vulnerable to external financing decisions. The company's revenues had grown consistently over the previous 5 years, their profit margins exceeded industry averages, and their customer retention rates demonstrated the value proposition they provided to their clients. The financial crisis was clearly situational rather than fundamental. The challenge facing Pinnacle required more sophisticated financial structuring than traditional bank lending could provide. Robert needed approximately $8 million in working capital to stabilize operations, invest in fleet modernization, and establish financial independence from external credit providers. This amount exceeded Cascade Community Bank's lending capacity for a single client and represented a significant commitment for any individual investor or investment group. Victoria recognized that Pinnacle Logistics Solutions represented exactly the type of opportunity that her investment strategy was designed to address. The company possessed strong operational fundamentals, experienced management, and clear competitive advantages that were temporarily obscured by their financial difficulty. More importantly, Victoria understood the transportation industry's dynamics and the strategic value of Pinnacle's specialized capabilities within the regional economy. The solution that Victoria developed for Pinnacle's crisis demonstrated her evolution from individual investor to sophisticated financial architect. She proposed organizing a structured investment syndicate that would provide the capital Robert needed, while preserving his operational control and positioning the company for long-term growth. This approach would require coordinating multiple investors, negotiating complex terms, and managing diverse stakeholder interest throughout the implementation process. Victoria's first step in addressing Pinnacle's situation involved comprehensive due diligence that extended far beyond traditional financial analysis. She spent 3 weeks conducting operational assessments, interviewing key employees, analyzing customer contracts, and evaluating competitive positioning within the transportation industry. This investigation confirmed her initial assessment that Pinnacle's challenges were financial rather than operational, and that the company possessed substantial intrinsic value. The due diligence process also revealed opportunities for operational improvements and strategic expansion that could enhance Pinnacle's value proposition and accelerate revenue growth. Victoria identified potential efficiency gains through technology implementation, expansion opportunities in underserved market segments, and strategic partnership possibilities that could provide additional competitive. These insights would become integral components of her investment proposal and strategic plan for the company. Victoria's network of successful entrepreneurs and business leaders provided the foundation for organizing the investment syndicate that would address Pinnacle's capital requirement. She approached investors from her portfolio companies who had achieved liquidity events and were seeking additional investment opportunities, business leaders from her professional network who understood the transportation industry's dynamic, high net worth individuals who appreciated the strategic value of supporting regional business development. The investment syndicate that Victoria assembled included Maria Rodriguez from Pacific Organic Solutions, who understood the critical importance of reliable logistics for her food processing business, David Park from Cascade Technology Services, who recognized the technology modernization opportunities within Pinnacle's operations, and Jennifer Walsh from Northwest Manufacturing Innovation, who valued the specialized transportation capabilities that Pinnacle provided for industrial clients. Additional participants included successful business owners and investment professionals who brought relevant expertise and capital to the syndicate. Victoria's leadership of the investment syndicate demonstrated her sophisticated understanding of investor relations and stakeholder management. She developed comprehensive investment documentation that clearly articulated the opportunity, outlined the strategic plan for addressing Pinnacle's challenges, and established governance structures that would protect investor interests while enabling effective operational management. Her presentation to potential investors emphasized both the financial return potential and the broader economic impact of preserving a significant regional employer. The investment terms that Victoria negotiated balanced the need to provide Robert Martinez with sufficient capital and operational flexibility while ensuring appropriate returns and risk protection for the syndicate member. The structure included both debt and equity components, with performance milestones that would enable the syndicate to participate in Pinnacle's future growth while maintaining downside protection. Victoria's financial modeling demonstrated clear paths to attractive returns while preserving the company's operational independence. Robert Martinez's response to Victoria's investment proposal reflected both his relief at finding a solution to his immediate crisis and his recognition of the strategic value that her involvement would provide. He appreciated that Victoria's approach addressed not only his capital requirements, but also positioned Pinnacle for sustainable growth through operational improvements and strategic partnerships. The syndicate structure would provide ongoing access to business expertise and market insights that would enhance the company's competitive position. The implementation of Victoria's investment plan required extensive coordination between multiple parties and careful attention to legal and regulatory requirements. She worked closely with corporate attorneys, accounting firms, and regulatory advisors to ensure that all aspects of the transaction were properly structured and documented. This process provided Victoria with valuable experience in complex financial transactions and established her credibility as someone capable of executing sophisticated business arrangements. Pinnacle Logistics Solutions' transformation under Victoria's investment and strategic guidance exceeded even her optimistic projections. The immediate capital injections stabilized operations and enabled the company to maintain its service commitments during the transition period. The operational improvements that Victoria had identified were implemented systematically, resulting in efficiency gains that enhanced profitability while improving customer service quality. The strategic partnerships that Victoria facilitated leveraged her network of portfolio companies and business relationships to create new revenue opportunities for Pinnacle. Maria Rodriguez's Pacific Organic Solutions became a significant client, utilizing Pinnacle's specialized capabilities for temperature-controlled distribution of organic products. David Park's Cascade Technology Services provided systems integration services that modernized Pinnacle's dispatch and fleet management operations. Jennifer Walsh's Northwest Manufacturing Innovations required specialized transportation for sensitive industrial materials that aligned perfectly with Pinnacle's capability. The technology modernization initiatives that Victoria championed transformed Pinnacle's operational efficiency and competitive position. The company implemented advanced routing optimization systems, real-time tracking capabilities, and predictive maintenance programs that reduced costs while improving service reliability. These improvements enabled Pinnacle to expand their service offerings and pursue larger client opportunities that had previously been beyond their operational capacity. Victoria's hands-on involvement with Pinnacle's strategic development demonstrated her evolution from financial investor to operational advisor and business architect. She participated in strategic planning sessions, provided guidance on major operational decisions, and facilitated introductions to potential clients and partners throughout her extensive business network. Her contributions extended far beyond capital provision to include meaningful value creation through strategic guidance and relationship facilitation. The financial performance of Pinnacle Logistics Solutions, following Victoria's investment, validated her analytical capabilities and strategic vision. The company's revenues increased by 45% within 18 months, driven by both organic growth and the addition of new service capability. Profit margins improved significantly through operational efficiency gains and strategic pricing adjustments that reflected the enhanced value proposition. The company's financial stability enabled them to pursue expansion opportunities and invest in additional fleet modernization. Victoria's success with Pinnacle Logistics Solutions established her reputation as someone capable of identifying, structuring, and executing complex investment opportunities that created value for all stakeholders involved. The transaction demonstrated her ability to organize investor syndicates, negotiate sophisticated financial structures, and provide ongoing strategic guidance that enhanced business performance. Her leadership throughout the process proved that she possessed the skills and experience necessary to address significant business challenges. The broader impact of Victoria's involvement with Pinnacle extended beyond the immediate financial returns to include preservation of employment for hundreds of workers and maintenance of critical transportation services for regional business. Her intervention had prevented the collapse of a significant regional employer while creating opportunities for sustainable growth and expansion. This demonstration of both financial acumen and community impact reinforced Victoria's commitment to investments that created broad stakeholder value. The professional recognition that Victoria received following the Pinnacle transaction marked her emergence as a significant figure within the Pacific Northwest investment community. Business leaders and financial professionals began seeking her advice on complex transactions and strategic matters. Her success attracted attention from larger investment organizations, who recognized her exceptional ability to identify opportunities and create value through strategic intervention. Victoria's experience with Pinnacle Logistics Solutions had provided comprehensive education in sophisticated financial transactions, investor relations, and operational improvement initiatives. The skills and knowledge she had acquired through this complex engagement positioned her for larger opportunities and more significant leadership responsibilities within the regional business community. Her proven ability to deliver results under challenging circumstances established her credibility for future endeavors. The success of the Pinnacle investment also validated Victoria's systematic approach to opportunity evaluation and strategic implementation. Her framework for analyzing business fundamentals, assessing management capabilities, and identifying value creation opportunities had proven effective in a complex, high-stakes situation. This validation provided confidence for pursuing additional opportunities that would further establish her influence and impact within the investment community. Victoria's transformation from individual investor to syndicate organizer and strategic advisor represented a fundamental shift in her professional capabilities and market position. The skills and relationships she had developed through the Pinnacle engagement would serve as the foundation for increasingly sophisticated opportunities and expanded influence within the Pacific Northwest business ecosystem. Her breakthrough success had established the platform for the extraordinary achievements that would follow. The Pinnacle Logistics Solutions investment marked Victoria's emergence from strategic observer to recognized business architect, demonstrating that exceptional success could be achieved through systematic analysis, strategic thinking, and collaborative execution. Her ability to identify opportunities, organize resources, and deliver results had been proven under demanding circumstances, establishing her credibility for the larger opportunities and greater responsibilities that lay ahead in her remarkable journey toward recognition and success. The success of Victoria Chen's intervention with Pinnacle Logistics Solutions established her reputation as a strategic investor, capable of identifying undervalued opportunities and orchestrating complex financial solutions. Word of her accomplishment spread rapidly through the Pacific Northwest business community, attracting attention from entrepreneurs, established business leaders, and investment professionals who recognized her exceptional analytical capabilities and execution skill. This recognition marked the beginning of Victoria's transformation from behind-the-scenes investor to acknowledged leader within the regional financial ecosystem. The first indication of Victoria's growing influence came through an invitation to participate in the Pacific Northwest Business Leaders Forum, an exclusive organization comprising senior executives from the region's most successful companies. The forum met quarterly to discuss economic trends, policy issues, and strategic opportunities affecting regional business development. Membership was typically reserved for chief executives, senior partners, and established entrepreneurs who had demonstrated significant impact within their respective industry. Victoria's nomination for forum membership had been proposed by Robert Martinez, whose gratitude for her intervention at Pinnacle Logistics Solutions had motivated him to introduce her to other business leaders throughout the region. His endorsement carried considerable weight within the business community, as his own reputation for operational excellence and strategic thinking was widely respected. The nomination process required extensive vetting by existing members, including detailed review of Victoria's business accomplishments and strategic contribution. The evaluation of Victoria's candidacy for forum membership revealed the scope of her investment activities and strategic influence, which had been largely invisible to the broader business community. Her portfolio of successful investments, her role in organizing complex financial transactions, and her contributions to operational improvements at multiple companies demonstrated a level of business acumen that impressed even seasoned executives. The unanimous approval of her membership application reflected recognition of her legitimate status as a significant business leader. Victoria's first appearance at a Pacific Northwest Business Leaders Forum meeting occurred during a session focused on emerging opportunities in sustainable technology and environmental services. Her insights into market dynamics, informed by her extensive experience with companies addressing environmental challenges, provided valuable perspectives that enhanced the discussion. Her contributions were characterized by practical understanding of operational realities and financial considerations that distinguished her analysis from purely theoretical observation. During the forum discussion, Victoria presented a detailed analysis of market trends in sustainable technology, drawing upon her experience with portfolio companies that had successfully navigated the transition from innovative concepts to profitable enterprise. Her assessment identified specific opportunities for established companies to develop strategic partnerships with emerging technology providers, while highlighting potential risks associated with unproven business models and regulatory uncertainty. The quality of Victoria's contributions to the forum discussion impressed other participants, who recognized her sophisticated understanding of both strategic and operational aspects of business development. Her ability to articulate complex market dynamics in clear, actionable terms demonstrated the depth of her business knowledge and her effectiveness as a strategic advisor. Several forum members approached Victoria after the meeting to explore potential collaboration opportunities and to request additional insights into specific market segments. Victoria's growing professional network began generating opportunities for more substantial investment and advisory engagement. Margaret Williams, her supervisor at Cascade Community Bank, had begun referring complex business consulting requests to Victoria, recognizing that her analytical capabilities and strategic experience exceeded the typical scope of customer service responsibility. These referrals enabled Victoria to expand her advisory practice while maintaining her position at the bank, which continued to provide valuable market intelligence and relationship development opportunities. The first major consulting engagement that emerged from Victoria's expanded professional network involved Emerald Valley Development Corporation, a regional real estate development company facing strategic challenges related to changing market conditions and evolving customer preferences. The company had achieved considerable success developing traditional commercial and residential projects, but was struggling to adapt their business model to address emerging trends in sustainable development and mixed-use planning. Emerald Valley Development Corporation had been founded 15 years earlier by Patricia Wilson, a former urban planning consultant, who had built the company into one of the region's most respected development organizations. Patricia's expertise in navigating regulatory environments and her relationships with local government officials had enabled the company to secure attractive development opportunities and execute projects efficiently. However, changing demographic trends and increased emphasis on environmental sustainability were challenging traditional development approaches. Victoria's engagement with Emerald Valley Development Corporation began with comprehensive analysis of market trends affecting real estate development throughout the Pacific Northwest. Her research revealed significant shifts in consumer preferences towards sustainable building practices, mixed-use development that integrated residential and commercial components, and community-oriented design approaches that emphasized walkability and environmental stewardship. These trends represented both challenges and opportunities for established development companies. The strategic assessment that Victoria conducted for Emerald Valley identified specific opportunities for the company to differentiate itself through sustainable development practices and innovative project design. Her recommendations included partnerships with green building technology providers, development of mixed-use projects that addressed growing demand for live work environments, and implementation of community engagement processes that would enhance project acceptance and market appeal. Victoria's recommendations for Emerald Valley Development Corporation were informed by her extensive network of portfolio companies and business relationships throughout the region. She facilitated introductions between Patricia Wilson and innovative technology providers who could support sustainable development initiatives. Her connections with financing sources enabled Emerald Valley to access specialized capital for green building projects. These relationships provided competitive advantages that would have been difficult for the company to develop independently, The implementation of Victoria's strategic recommendations transformed Emerald Valley Development Corporation's market positioning and competitive capability. The company's first sustainable development project, a mixed-use complex incorporating residential units, retail spaces, and office facilities, attracted significant attention from both potential tenants and industry observers. The project's innovative design features and environmental performance exceeded initial expectations, while achieving financial returns that validated the strategic approach. Victoria's success with Emerald Valley Development Corporation established her credibility as a strategic advisor capable of helping established companies navigate market transitions and capitalize on emerging opportunities. Her ability to identify market trends, develop implementation strategies, and facilitate necessary business relationships demonstrated the comprehensive nature of her business expertise. The engagement also expanded her network within the real estate development industry and adjacent market segments. The recognition that Victoria received from her successful consulting engagements began attracting attention from larger companies and more sophisticated investors. Her reputation for thorough analysis, strategic thinking, and practical implementation had spread throughout the Pacific Northwest business community through word-of-mouth recommendations from satisfied clients and portfolio companies. This organic growth and recognition reflected the genuine value that she provided to her business relationships. Victoria's advisory practice continued expanding as her reputation grew, enabling her to be increasingly selective about the engagements she accepted. She developed criteria for evaluating potential consulting opportunities that emphasized strategic significance, learning potential, and alignment with her values regarding sustainable business practices and community impact. This selectivity enhanced the quality of her client base while ensuring that her time was invested in meaningful opportunities. The financial returns from Victoria's expanded advisory practice supplemented the substantial returns from her investment portfolio, creating multiple revenue streams that enhanced her financial independence and provided capital for additional investment opportunities. Her diverse income sources reduced dependence on any single client or investment, while her growing reputation provided access to larger opportunities that required more substantial capital commitment. Victoria's professional development during this period included formal education initiatives designed to enhance her knowledge of specialized business areas and emerging market trends. She completed advanced certification programs in sustainable business practices, corporate governance, and strategic planning through prestigious business schools and professional organizations. These credentials supplemented her practical experience and provided additional credibility for her advisory practice. The networking opportunities that accompanied Victoria's growing professional prominence connected her with business leaders, investors, and advisors throughout the Western United States. Her participation in industry conferences, investment forums, and professional associations provided exposure to best practices from other markets, while establishing her reputation beyond the Pacific Northwest region. These broader connections would prove valuable for future expansion opportunities and strategic partnerships. Victoria's commitment to professional excellence was reflected in her approach to client relationships and investment stewardship. She maintained rigorous standards for analysis quality, communication effectiveness, and follow-through on commitments that distinguished her from competitors and established lasting client loyalty. Her reputation for reliability and results-oriented performance became significant competitive advantages that enabled her to command premium pricing for her services. The mentorship relationships that Victoria began developing during this period reflected her recognition that long-term success required contributing to the development of others within the business community. She began providing guidance to emerging entrepreneurs and early-stage companies, sharing insights and connections that could accelerate their development. These relationships enhanced her understanding of emerging trends while establishing goodwill throughout the business community. Victoria's growing influence within the Pacific Northwest business community was accompanied by increased visibility in business media and professional publications. Her insights on market trends and business strategy were featured in regional business journals and industry publications, establishing her thought leadership position and enhancing her professional brand. This media exposure attracted additional consulting opportunities and investment prospects. The success of Victoria's transition from individual investor to recognized business leader demonstrated the power of consistent execution, strategic thinking, and relationship building in achieving professional recognition. Her ability to deliver meaningful value to clients and portfolio companies had established her credibility and created momentum for continued growth. The foundation she had built through careful attention to quality and results positioned her for the larger opportunities that would emerge as her reputation continued expanding. Victoria's achievements during this period of credibility building had been accomplished while maintaining her position at Cascade Community Bank and keeping her success largely invisible to her family. Her brothers and parents remained unaware of her growing influence and substantial financial achievements, continuing to view her customer service role as evidence of limited ambition and modest accomplishments. This disconnect between her actual success and her family's perceptions would soon become impossible to maintain as her prominence within the business community continued expanding. The professional recognition that Victoria had earned through her investment success and strategic advisory work established the foundation for the extraordinary opportunities that would emerge in the final phases of her transformation from perceived family disappointment to acknowledged business leader. Her proven ability to identify opportunities, create value, and build lasting relationships had positioned her for the recognition and success that would ultimately reshape her family's understanding of achievement and redefine their assessment of her capabilities and contribution. Victoria Chen's reputation as a strategic business architect and investment professional had reached a level of recognition that enabled her to pursue opportunities of unprecedented scale and complexity. Her success with individual investments and consulting engagements had demonstrated her analytical capabilities and execution skills, but the next phase of her professional evolution would require mastering the art of large-scale partnership development and collaborative value creation. This transition would test her ability to coordinate multiple stakeholders, align diverse interests, and create sustainable business relationships that could support regional economic development. The catalyst for Victoria's entrance into strategic partnership development emerged through her involvement with the Columbia River Economic Development Initiative, a public-private collaboration designed to enhance economic growth throughout the Columbia River corridor. The initiative encompassed communities across Oregon and Washington, focusing on infrastructure development, business attraction, and workforce development programs that would strengthen the region's competitive position within the broader Pacific economy. Victoria's invitation to participate in the Columbia River Economic Development Initiative reflected recognition of her expertise in business development and her understanding of regional market dynamics. Her portfolio of successful investments and consulting engagements had demonstrated her ability to identify opportunities and create value across diverse industry segments. More importantly, her reputation for collaborative leadership and stakeholder alignment made her an attractive participant for complex multi-party initiatives. The Economic Development Initiative faced significant challenges related to coordination between multiple government entities, private sector organizations, and community stakeholders with varying priorities and resources. Previous efforts to enhance regional economic development had achieved limited success due to fragmented approaches and insufficient coordination between participating organizations. The initiative's leadership recognized that achieving meaningful impact would require innovative approaches to partnership development and resource allocation. Victoria's analysis of the Columbia River Economic Development Initiative revealed both substantial opportunities and significant implementation challenges. The region possessed numerous competitive advantages, including strategic location, transportation infrastructure, natural resources, and established business network. However, realizing the full potential of these advantages required coordinated investment in infrastructure improvements, workforce development programs, and business attraction initiatives that exceeded the capacity of individual organizations. The strategic framework that Victoria developed for the Economic Development Initiative emphasized creating sustainable partnerships between private sector organizations and public sector entities that could support long-term economic growth. Her approach focused on identifying specific projects that would provide tangible benefits to multiple stakeholders, while establishing precedents for future collaboration. This methodology prioritized initiatives that could demonstrate clear value propositions and measurable outcomes. Victoria's first major contribution to the Economic Development Initiative involved facilitating the development of the Pacific Northwest Innovation Center, a collaborative facility designed to support technology commercialization and entrepreneur development throughout the region. The Innovation Center concept required coordination between universities, established technology companies, venture capital organizations, and government entities to create a comprehensive ecosystem for business development and technology transfer. The complexity of developing the Pacific Northwest Innovation Center required Victoria to apply sophisticated partnership structuring and stakeholder management techniques. She organized working groups that included representatives from major universities, established technology companies, investment organizations, and economic development agents. Her role involved facilitating discussions between diverse stakeholders, identifying common interests, and developing governance structures that would enable effective collaboration. Victoria's approach to partnership development emphasized creating mutual value propositions that addressed the specific interests and constraints of each participating organization. Universities sought opportunities to commercialize research and provide practical experience for students. Technology companies required access to emerging innovations and skilled talent. Investment organizations needed pipeline development for future investment opportunities. Government entities prioritized job creation and economic development outcomes. The partnership structure that Victoria developed for the Pacific Northwest Innovation Center balanced these diverse interests through carefully designed governance and resource allocation mechanisms. Universities would provide research expertise and student talent while gaining access to commercialization support and industry partnerships. Technology companies would contribute operational expertise and market insights while accessing emerging innovations and potential acquisition opportunities. Investment organizations would provide capital and strategic guidance while developing investment pipeline opportunity. The implementation of the Pacific Northwest Innovation Center partnership required extensive coordination between legal, financial, and operational teams from multiple organizations. Victoria served as the primary coordinator for this complex process, ensuring that all stakeholder interests were appropriately represented and that implementation timelines remained realistic. Her experience with multi-party transactions and stakeholder management proved essential for navigating the challenges associated with such a complex collaborative initiative. Victoria's leadership of the Innovation Center development process demonstrated her evolution from individual investor to ecosystem architect, capable of creating value for entire industries and communities. Her ability to identify mutual interests, structure sustainable partnerships, and coordinate complex implementation processes established her credibility for pursuing even larger collaborative initiatives. The Innovation Center project became a model for subsequent partnership development efforts throughout the region. The success of the Pacific Northwest Innovation Center exceeded initial expectations and validated Victoria's approach to large-scale partnership development. The facility attracted significant participation from regional universities, technology companies, and investment organizations, creating a vibrant ecosystem for innovation and commercialization. The center's programs generated measurable outcomes in terms of new business formation, job creation, and technology transfer that demonstrated the effectiveness of collaborative approaches to economic development. Victoria's success with the Innovation Center project attracted attention from other regional economic development initiatives and established her reputation as someone capable of orchestrating complex public-private partnerships. Her expertise in stakeholder alignment and value creation became sought after by government entities, business organizations, and community groups, seeking to address regional challenges through collaborative approach. The recognition that Victoria received from her work on economic development initiatives provided access to increasingly sophisticated partnership opportunities within the financial services sector. Her understanding of regional business dynamics and her proven ability to coordinate complex transactions positioned her for involvement in strategic initiatives that could reshape the competitive landscape within banking and investment services. The opportunity that would define the next phase of Victoria's professional development emerged through her relationship with Cascade Community Bank, where her exceptional performance in customer service and business development had been recognized by senior management. The bank's leadership team had begun exploring strategic alternatives for enhancing their competitive position and expanding their service capabilities within the regional market. Victoria's expertise and network of relationships made her a natural advisor for these strategic planning efforts. Cascade Community Bank faced increasing competitive pressure from larger national banks that possessed greater resources and broader service capability. The bank's traditional focus on small business lending and community development had provided sustainable profitability, but changing market conditions and regulatory requirements were creating challenges that required strategic adaptation. The bank's leadership recognized that maintaining competitive position would require innovative approaches to service delivery and market positioning. Victoria's analysis of Cascade Community Bank's strategic situation revealed both significant challenges and substantial opportunities for creating value through strategic partnerships and operational improvement. The bank possessed strong relationships with regional businesses, deep understanding of local market conditions, and operational expertise in specialized lending areas. However, competing effectively against larger institutions required enhanced technology capabilities, expanded service offerings, and access to larger capital resources. The strategic plan that Victoria developed for Cascade Community Bank emphasized leveraging the bank's core strengths while addressing competitive disadvantages through strategic partnerships and selective acquisition. Her approach focused on identifying complementary organizations that could provide needed capabilities while benefiting from Cascade's market knowledge and customer relationships. This methodology prioritized partnerships that would enhance value for all stakeholders while positioning the bank for sustainable growth. Victoria's implementation of the strategic plan for Cascade Community Bank required her to apply all of the partnership development and stakeholder management skills she had developed through her work on economic development initiatives. She facilitated discussions with potential partners, structured complex transactions, and coordinated implementation processes that involved multiple organizations and diverse stakeholder groups. Her role expanded beyond advisory services to include active leadership of the bank's strategic transformation initiatives. The partnerships that Victoria developed for Cascade Community Bank included relationships with technology providers that enhanced the bank's digital capability, investment organizations that provided access to expanded capital resources, and specialized service providers that enabled the bank to offer comprehensive financial services to their business clients. These partnerships transformed the bank's competitive position while preserving its community focus and relationship-oriented approach to customer service. Victoria's success in orchestrating Cascade Community Bank's strategic transformations established her reputation as a leader capable of managing complex organizational change while preserving institutional culture and stakeholder relationships. Her ability to balance competing interests and coordinate complex implementation processes demonstrated sophisticated leadership capabilities that would prove essential for the larger opportunities that lay ahead. The financial impact of Victoria's strategic initiatives for Cascade Community Bank was substantial, resulting in significant improvements in operational efficiency, revenue growth, and competitive positioning. The bank's enhanced capabilities enabled them to serve larger clients while maintaining their commitment to small business development and community investment. The success of these initiatives validated Victoria's approach to strategic partnership development and established her credibility for pursuing even more ambitious collaborative projects. Victoria's expanding role within Cascade Community Bank's strategic development provided her with comprehensive exposure to the banking industry's operational dynamics and regulatory environment. This experience complemented her existing expertise in business development and investment management, creating a unique combination of skills that positioned her for leadership opportunities within the financial services sector. The recognition that Victoria received from her success with strategic partnership development extended throughout the Pacific Northwest business community and began attracting attention from national organizations. Her reputation for creating value through collaborative approaches and her proven ability to coordinate complex multi-stakeholder initiatives established her as a thought leader in partnership development and strategic collaboration. Victoria's achievements in partnership strategy had been accomplished while maintaining her official position as a customer service representative at Cascade Community Bank, though her actual responsibilities had evolved far beyond traditional customer service activity. Her family remained unaware of her expanding influence and leadership responsibilities, continuing to perceive her role at the bank as evidence of limited career advancement and modest professional achievement. This growing disconnect between her actual accomplishments and her family's perceptions was approaching a point where it would become impossible to sustain. Victoria Chen's strategic initiatives for Cascade Community Bank and her leadership of regional economic development projects had positioned her at the center of increasingly complex business challenges that would test every skill she had developed throughout her professional evolution. The implementation phase of her strategic partnerships required not only sophisticated planning and coordination, but also the ability to navigate unexpected obstacles, manage competing priorities, and maintain stakeholder alignment under pressure. This period would prove whether her theoretical frameworks could withstand the practical realities of large-scale business transformation. The first major implementation challenge emerged during the development of the Pacific Northwest Innovation Center, when regulatory complications threatened to derail the entire project. The multi-jurisdictional nature of the initiative had created complex compliance requirements involving federal, state, and local government entities with overlapping but sometimes conflicting regulations. The legal framework governing public-private partnerships varied significantly between Oregon and Washington, creating potential conflicts that could expose participating organizations to liability risks and regulatory penalties. Victoria's response to the regulatory challenges demonstrated her growth from strategic planner to operational leader capable of managing complex crisis situations. She organized a specialized legal task force comprising attorneys from multiple jurisdictions who could address the regulatory complications while maintaining the collaborative structure of the Innovation Center project. Her coordination of this legal team required sophisticated understanding of regulatory processes and the ability to communicate effectively between legal professionals and business stakeholders. The regulatory solution that Victoria developed involved restructuring the Innovation Center partnership to create separate legal entities in each jurisdiction, while maintaining unified governance and operational coordination. This approach addressed the compliance requirements of each regulatory environment, while preserving the collaborative benefits that had motivated the original partnership structure. The implementation of this solution required extensive documentation, regulatory filings, and coordination between legal teams in multiple jurisdictions. Victoria's management of the regulatory crisis established her reputation as someone capable of solving complex problems under pressure, while maintaining stakeholder confidence and project momentum. Her ability to identify practical solutions to technical challenges while preserving the strategic objectives of the partnership demonstrated the depth of her operational capability. The successful resolution of the regulatory complications enabled the Innovation Center project to proceed and established precedents for future multi-jurisdictional collaboration. The second major implementation challenge arose within Cascade Community Bank's Strategic Transformation Initiative, when cultural resistance from long-term employees threatened to undermine the operational changes required for successful partnership integration. The bank's workforce had developed strong attachment to traditional procedures and established relationships that had contributed to the institution's historical success. The technology implementations and process modifications required for strategic partnerships created anxiety among employees who were concerned about job security and operational disruption. Victoria's approach to managing organizational change within Cascade Community Bank emphasized communication, training, and gradual transition processes that would minimize disruption while building employee confidence in the new operational system. She developed comprehensive change management programs that included detailed explanations of strategic objectives, extensive training on new technologies and procedures, and opportunities for employee feedback and input throughout the implementation process. The change management strategy that Victoria implemented at Cascade Community Bank included establishment of employee advisory committees that provided input on operational modifications and helped identify potential implementation challenges before they became significant problems. These committees enabled staff members to participate in the transformation process while ensuring that their operational expertise and institutional knowledge were incorporated into the new systems and procedures. Victoria's leadership of the change management process required her to balance the need for operational efficiency with respect for employee concerns and organizational culture. Her approach emphasized preserving the bank's commitment to personalized customer service and community involvement while implementing the technological and procedural improvements necessary for competitive success. This balance required careful attention to communication, training, and support systems that would enable employees to adapt successfully to the new operational environment. The cultural transformation at Cascade Community Bank under Victoria's guidance resulted in improved employee engagement and operational performance that exceeded initial projections. The staff's understanding of strategic objectives and their confidence in new systems and procedures enabled more effective implementation of partnership initiatives and enhanced service delivery to business clients. The success of the change management process validated Victoria's approach to organizational development and established her credibility for leading complex transformational initiatives. The third major implementation challenge emerged during the development of strategic partnerships between Cascade Community Bank and regional technology companies when competitive conflicts threatened to undermine collaborative objectives. Several potential partners had overlapping service offerings and competing market positions that created tension during partnership negotiations. The challenge required Victoria to develop governance structures and operational protocols that would enable collaboration while managing competitive dynamics. Victoria's solution to the competitive complex involved creating specialized partnership structures that isolated collaborative activities from competitive operations while enabling participating organizations to benefit from shared resources and market insights. She developed detailed protocols for information sharing, decision-making, and conflict resolution that addressed the concerns of all participating organizations while maintaining the collaborative benefits of the partnership structure. The governance framework that Victoria established for managing competitive partnerships included independent oversight mechanisms, confidentiality protection, and dispute resolution procedures that provided assurance to participating organizations about the security of their proprietary information and strategic interests. These safeguards enabled companies with competing market positions to collaborate effectively on specific initiatives while maintaining their competitive independence in other areas. Victoria's management of competitive dynamics within collaborative partnerships demonstrated her sophisticated understanding of business strategy and stakeholder psychology. Her ability to structure relationships that aligned competing interests while preserving individual competitive advantages established her reputation as someone capable of solving complex business problems through innovative partnership approaches. The successful resolution of competitive conflicts enabled the formation of partnerships that would have been impossible under traditional business relationship structure. The The fourth major implementation challenge arose during the integration of technology systems across multiple organizations participating in Victoria's strategic partnership. The diverse technological infrastructure and operational procedures of participating organizations created compatibility issues that threatened to undermine the efficiency gains that had motivated the partnership development. The challenge required coordinating between information technology teams from multiple organizations while maintaining operational continuity during the transition process. Victoria's approach to technology integration emphasized phased implementation processes that would minimize operational disruption while ensuring system compatibility and data security. She organized specialized technical teams comprising representatives from all participating organizations who could address compatibility issues and developed standardized procedures for system integration. Her coordination of these technical teams required understanding of complex technology systems and the ability to facilitate communication between technical specialists and business stakeholders. The technology integration strategy that Victoria developed included comprehensive testing procedures, backup systems, and contingency protocols that would ensure operational continuity during the transition process. Her emphasis on risk management and operational security addressed the concerns of participating organizations about potential disruptions to their business operations and customer service capability. Victoria's successful management of technology integration challenges established her reputation as someone capable of coordinating complex technical projects while maintaining focus on business objectives and stakeholder interests. Her ability to bridge the communication gap between technical specialists and business leaders enabled more effective implementation of technology solutions and enhanced the overall success of partnership initiatives. The financial performance of Victoria's strategic partnerships during the implementation phase validated her approach to complex project management and stakeholder coordination. The partnerships generated measurable improvements in operational efficiency, revenue growth, and competitive positioning for all participating organizations. The success of these initiatives provided evidence that Victoria's strategic frameworks could deliver practical results under challenging implementation conditions. Victoria's leadership during the implementation phase also demonstrated her ability to maintain long-term strategic perspective while addressing immediate operational challenges. Her emphasis on sustainable business practices and stakeholder value creation ensured that short-term problem-solving efforts aligned with long-term strategic objectives. This balance between immediate responsiveness and strategic consistency became a hallmark of her leadership approach. The recognition that Victoria received from her successful management of implementation challenges extended throughout the Pacific Northwest business community and began attracting attention from national organizations. Her reputation for delivering results under challenging conditions made her a sought-after advisor for complex business transformation initiatives. The success of her implementation efforts established her credibility for pursuing even larger and more sophisticated leadership opportunities. Victoria's experience during the implementation phase provided comprehensive education in operational leadership, crisis management, and stakeholder coordination that complemented her existing expertise in strategic planning and partnership development. The skills and knowledge she acquired through managing complex implementation challenges positioned her for senior leadership opportunities within the financial services sector and the broader business community. The documentation successes that Victoria achieved also strengthened her relationships with key stakeholders throughout the region, including government officials, business leaders, and community organizations. These relationships provided the foundation for future collaborative initiatives and established her influence within the regional economic development ecosystem. Her reputation for effective implementation and stakeholder management became significant competitive advantages for future opportunities. Victoria's approach to implementation challenges emphasized learning and continuous improvement,
ensuring that each project provided insights that could enhance future initiatives. Her systematic documentation of implementation processes and outcomes created valuable knowledge resources that could be applied to subsequent partnerships and strategic initiatives. This commitment to learning and improvement established her reputation as someone who continuously enhanced her capabilities and delivered increasingly sophisticated results. The personal growth that Victoria experienced through managing complex implementation challenges enhanced her confidence and leadership capabilities, while reinforcing her commitment to creating value for all stakeholders involved in her initiative. Her ability to maintain composure under pressure and deliver results despite significant obstacles demonstrated the depth of her character and the strength of her professional capability. Victoria's success during the implementation phase had been achieved while maintaining her official position as a customer service representative at Cascade Community Bank, though her actual responsibilities had evolved to include strategic planning, partnership development, and operational leadership.
Her family remained unaware of the scope of her professional achievements and the recognition she had earned within the business community, continuing to perceive her role at the bank as evidence of limited career advancement and modest professional accomplishments. Victoria Chen's successful implementation of complex strategic initiatives had created a profound transformation in her professional standing within the Pacific Northwest business community. The partnership she had orchestrated and the challenges she had overcome had generated a network effect that exponentially expanded her influence and opened opportunities that would have been inconceivable just years earlier. This phenomenon demonstrated how sustained excellence in one area could create cascading benefits across multiple dimensions of professional achievement and market recognition. The first manifestation of Victoria's expanding network effect emerged through her selection to serve on the board of directors for the Pacific Northwest Economic Development Council, a prestigious regional organization that coordinated economic development strategies across multiple states. Her appointment reflected recognition not only of her individual achievements, but also of her unique ability to bridge the gap between private sector innovation and public sector policy implementation. The position provided her with direct influence over regional economic development priorities and access to decision-makers at the highest levels of government and business. Victoria's contributions to the Pacific Northwest Economic Development Council included development of comprehensive frameworks for evaluating regional investment opportunities and implementation of systematic approaches to public-private partnership development. Her experience with complex multi-stakeholder initiatives provided valuable insights that enhanced the effectiveness of regional economic development programs, while reducing implementation risks and improving stakeholder alignment. The board appointment also connected Victoria with senior executives from major corporations throughout the western United States, expanding her professional network beyond the Pacific Northwest and providing exposure to business practices and strategic approaches from larger markets. These relationships would prove instrumental in attracting investment capital and strategic partnerships to the region, while establishing Victoria's reputation as a connector and relationship facilitator within the broader business community. Victoria's growing influence within economic development circles attracted attention from federal agencies responsible for regional economic policy and investment promotion. Her expertise in partnership development and stakeholder coordination made her a valuable advisor for federal initiatives designed to enhance economic growth in rural and mid-sized metropolitan areas. This recognition at the federal level established her credibility for pursuing opportunities with national scope and significance. The second major manifestation of Victoria's network effect occurred through her involvement with the formation of the Columbia River Investment Consortium, a collaborative investment organization designed to pool resources from regional investors and institutions to support larger-scale economic development projects. The consortium represented an innovative approach to addressing the capital gap that had historically limited the scale of investment opportunities available in the Pacific Northwest region. Victoria's role in developing the Columbia River Investment Consortium required her to coordinate between pension funds, insurance companies, family offices, and institutional investors with diverse investment criteria and risk tolerance. Her ability to structure investment vehicles that addressed the specific requirements of different investor categories, while maintaining unified strategic objectives, demonstrated understanding of institutional investment dynamics and regulatory environment. The investment consortium that Victoria helped establish controlled over $200 million in committed capital and provided the financial foundation for pursuing transformational economic development projects throughout the Columbia River corridor. The consortium's first major investment involved development of a regional logistics and distribution hub that would serve as a critical link between Pacific Rim trade and North American markets, creating thousands of jobs while enhancing the region's competitive position in international commerce. Victoria's leadership of the consortium development process established her reputation as someone capable of organizing large-scale financial initiatives while maintaining focus on regional economic development objectives. Her ability to balance the commercial interests of institutional investors with the community development priorities of public sector partners created a sustainable model for collaborative investment that could be replicated in other regions. The success of the Columbia River Investment Consortium attracted attention from other regions seeking to implement similar collaborative investment approaches. Victoria began receiving requests to advise economic development organizations throughout the western United States on strategies for organizing institutional investment consortiums and developing large-scale public-private partnerships. These consulting engagements expanded her influence beyond the Pacific Northwest while providing additional revenue streams for her growing advisory practice. The third significant manifestation of Victoria's network effect emerged through her selection as a founding board member for the Western States Technology Transfer Institute, a collaborative organization designed to enhance commercialization of university research and promote technology-based economic development. The institute represented a partnership between major universities, established technology companies, and investment organizations focused on accelerating the transition from academic research to commercial application. Victoria's involvement with the Western States Technology Transfer Institute reflected recognition of her unique combination of technical understanding, business expertise, and stakeholder coordination capability. Her experience with the Pacific Northwest Innovation Center provided valuable insights for developing similar initiatives across multiple states, while her investment background enabled effective evaluation of commercialization opportunities and market potential. The Technology Transfer Institute that Victoria helped establish created systematic processes for identifying promising university research, connecting academic investigators with commercial partners, and providing funding and strategic support for technology commercialization initiatives. The Institute's programs generated measurable increases in university licensing revenues, new company formation, and technology-based job creation throughout the Western United States. Victoria's leadership role within the Technology Transfer Institute also connected her with venture capital organizations, corporate development departments, and technology companies seeking access to emerging innovations and research capability. These relationships provided valuable deal flow for her investment activities, while establishing her reputation as a connector between academic research and commercial application. The fourth manifestation of Victoria's expanding network effect occurred through her recruitment to serve as an advisor for several major corporate strategic planning initiatives. Companies seeking to enhance their competitive position through strategic partnerships and innovation programs began approaching Victoria for guidance based on her reputation for developing collaborative relationships and managing complex stakeholder dynamics. Victoria's corporate advisory work included strategic planning for a major regional healthcare system, seeking to enhance their technology capabilities through partnerships with medical device companies and research institutions. Her analysis identified opportunities for developing integrated healthcare delivery systems that could improve patient outcomes while reducing operational costs through technology integration and process optimization. The healthcare system engagement demonstrated Victoria's ability to apply her partnership development expertise to complex regulatory environments while addressing the specific operational requirements of healthcare delivery. Her recommendations enabled the healthcare system to form strategic partnerships that enhanced their service capabilities while maintaining compliance with healthcare regulations and quality standards. Victoria also provided strategic advisory services to a major manufacturing company seeking to transition their operations toward more sustainable production processes and renewable energy utilization. Her analysis identified partnership opportunities with clean technology providers and environmental services companies that could accelerate the transition while reducing implementation costs and operational risk. The manufacturing company engagement showcased Victoria's understanding of industrial operations and environmental regulations, while demonstrating her ability to identify innovative solutions to complex operational challenges. Her recommendations enabled the company to achieve their sustainability objectives, while maintaining competitive cost structures and operational efficiency. The recognition that Victoria received through her expanding corporate advisory practice attracted attention from business media and professional publications throughout the Western United States. Her insights on partnership development, economic development strategies, and technology commercialization were featured in prominent business journals and industry publications, establishing her thought leadership position and enhancing her professional brand. Victoria's media exposure generated additional opportunities for speaking engagements at industry conferences and professional associations, further expanding her network and establishing her reputation as an expert in collaborative business development and regional economic strategy. These speaking opportunities provided platforms for sharing her insights, while building relationships with business leaders and potential clients throughout the country. The fifth significant manifestation of Victoria's network effect emerged through her involvement in developing innovative financing structures for infrastructure development projects. Her experience with public-private partnerships and institutional investment coordination positioned her as a valuable advisor for communities and organizations seeking to fund large-scale infrastructure improvements through collaborative financing approaches. Victoria's infrastructure financing work included development of innovative funding mechanisms for transportation improvements, utility modernization, and telecommunication. Her ability to structure financing arrangements that addressed the requirements of multiple stakeholder groups, while ensuring sustainable revenue streams, established new models for infrastructure development that could be applied throughout the region. The infrastructure projects that Victoria helped finance generated measurable economic development, while demonstrating the effectiveness of collaborative approaches to addressing regional infrastructure needs. Her success in this area attracted attention from government agencies and private sector organizations seeking to implement similar financing strategies for their own infrastructure requirements. Victoria's comprehensive involvement in regional economic development, institutional investment coordination, technology commercialization, corporate strategy, and infrastructure financing had created a professional network that extended throughout the Western United States and included senior executives, government officials, academic leaders, and investment professionals across multiple industries and sectors. The network effect that Victoria had generated through her consistent excellence and collaborative approach had created opportunities for influence and impact that exceeded what any individual achievement could have produced. Her reputation as a connector, problem solver, and value creator had established her as a central figure within the regional business ecosystem, while positioning her for opportunities with national scope and significance. Victoria's expanding influence and growing network of relationships had been achieved while maintaining her official position as a customer service representative at Cascade Community Bank. Though her actual responsibilities and professional activities had evolved far beyond traditional banking operations, her family remained unaware of the scope of her professional achievements and the recognition she had earned throughout the business community, continuing to perceive her role at the bank as evidence of limited career advancement and modest professional accomplishment. Victoria's expanding influence and growing network of professional relationships had positioned her at a critical juncture in her career development. The opportunities emerging from her regional leadership activities, investment success, and strategic advisory work required decisions about resource allocation, organizational structure, and professional focus that would determine the trajectory of her future achievement. The scale and complexity of available opportunities exceeded what she could pursue individually, while maintaining her current approach to business development and stakeholder engagement. The catalyst for Victoria's scaling decision emerged through her involvement with a transformational investment opportunity that required resources and coordination capabilities beyond her existing organizational structure. Pacific Innovation Venture, a newly formed investment fund focused on technology commercialization and economic development throughout the western United States, had invited Victoria to serve as managing partner based on her exceptional track record in partnership development and stakeholder coordination. Pacific Innovation Ventures represented a collaboration between institutional investors, family offices, and economic development organizations, seeking to address the capital gap that historically limited the scale of innovation-based economic development in secondary metropolitan areas. The fund's investment strategy emphasized supporting technology companies and infrastructure projects that could generate both financial returns and measurable economic development impact across multiple states. The managing partner position with Pacific Innovation Ventures offered Victoria the opportunity to leverage her expertise in partnership development and regional economic strategy, while accessing capital resources that would enable pursuit of larger and more sophisticated investment opportunities. The role would provide her with direct control over investment decisions and strategic direction, while establishing her as a recognized leader within the institutional investment community. Victoria's evaluation of the Pacific Innovation Ventures opportunity required comprehensive analysis of the potential benefits, risks, and resource requirements associated with accepting a senior leadership position within a major investment organization. The position would provide significant financial compensation, professional recognition, and access to larger investment opportunities, but would also require her to leave Cascade Community Bank and formalize her transition from regional advisor to institutional investment professional. The decision to pursue the managing partner position represented a fundamental shift in Victoria's professional approach and career strategy. Her success had been built through careful relationship development, collaborative partnership formation, and gradual expansion of influence within existing organizational structures. The institutional investment role would require her to operate within formal organizational hierarchies, manage larger teams, and coordinate more complex stakeholder relationships. Victoria's analysis of the scaling decision included comprehensive evaluation of her current investment portfolio, advisory practice, and professional relationships, to determine how these assets could be integrated into a larger organizational structure. Her existing portfolio companies and strategic partners represented substantial value that could enhance the Pacific Innovation Ventures investment strategy, while providing continuity for her established business relationship. The transition planning process that Victoria developed addressed the complex challenge of maintaining her existing commitments while assuming new responsibilities within Pacific Innovation Ventures. Her approach emphasized protecting the interests of current portfolio companies and advisory clients, while establishing clear communication channels and governance structures that would enable effective coordination between her various professional activities. Victoria's decision to accept the managing partner position required extensive negotiation regarding investment strategy, organizational structure, and decision-making authority within Pacific Innovation Ventures. Her expertise and track record provided significant leverage in these negotiations, enabling her to secure terms that preserved her autonomy over investment decisions, while providing access to the resources and professional infrastructure necessary for pursuing larger opportunities. The organizational structure that Victoria negotiated included establishment of a dedicated regional investment team focused on Pacific Northwest opportunities, integration of her existing portfolio companies into the fund's investment strategy, and formal recognition of her role in developing strategic partnerships and stakeholder relationships throughout the western United States. These arrangements enabled her to maintain continuity with her established business activities, while expanding her capabilities and resources. Victoria's preparation for the transition to Pacific Innovation Ventures included comprehensive planning for her departure from Cascade Community Bank, and the transfer of her responsibilities related to strategic partnerships and economic development initiatives. Her approach emphasized ensuring continuity for ongoing projects,
while maintaining the relationships and institutional knowledge that had contributed to her success. The departure planning process required extensive coordination with Margaret Williams and other senior leaders at Cascade Community Bank to ensure smooth transition of Victoria's responsibilities and preservation of the strategic partnerships she had developed. Her contributions to the bank's transformation and growth had been substantial, and her departure required careful management to minimize disruption to ongoing initiatives. Victoria's transition from Cascade Community Bank also required formal resolution of her involvement with various economic development organizations and advisory relationships throughout the region. Her approach emphasized maintaining her contributions to these organizations while adapting her role to align with her new responsibilities within Pacific Innovation Ventures. The establishment of Victoria's new organizational structure within Pacific Innovation Ventures required extensive coordination with legal advisors, regulatory specialists, and operational teams to ensure compliance with investment industry regulations and institutional governance. Her transition from individual investor to institutional investment professional required adherence to significantly more complex regulatory and operational standards. Victoria's first major initiative as managing partner of Pacific Innovation Ventures involved development of a comprehensive investment strategy that would guide the fund's allocation of capital across technology commercialization, infrastructure development, and economic development projects throughout the western United States. Her strategy emphasized leveraging her established network of relationships and proven expertise in partnership development to identify and execute high-impact investment opportunities. The investment strategy that Victoria developed for Pacific Innovation Ventures included systematic approaches to opportunity identification, due diligence processes, and portfolio management that would enable the fund to achieve both financial performance objectives and economic development impact goals. Her framework integrated traditional investment analysis with assessment of regional economic development potential and stakeholder alignment consideration. Victoria's implementation of the Pacific Innovation Ventures investment strategy required establishment of operational systems, investment processes, stakeholder communication mechanisms that could support the fund's ambitious objectives while maintaining the collaborative approach that had characterized her previous success. Her experience with complex partnership development provided valuable insights for structuring institutional investment operations. The team development process that Victoria led at Pacific Innovation Ventures included recruitment of investment professionals, operational specialists, and administrative personnel who could support the fund's investment activities, while maintaining the high standards of stakeholder service and collaboration that had distinguished her previous work. Her approach emphasized finding individuals who shared her commitment to creating value for all stakeholders involved in investment activity. Victoria's leadership of Pacific Innovation Ventures generated immediate interest from institutional investors, economic development organizations, and technology companies seeking access to capital and strategic partnership. Her reputation for successful partnership development and stakeholder coordination provided the fund with competitive advantages in attracting both investment opportunities and capital commitments from institutional investors. The first major investment that Victoria executed through Pacific Innovation Ventures involved a collaborative financing arrangement for a regional transportation infrastructure project that would enhance connectivity between major metropolitan areas while supporting economic development in smaller communities throughout the corridor. The project required coordination between government agencies, private sector partners, and community stakeholders with diverse interest and priority. Victoria's management of the transportation infrastructure investment demonstrated her ability to apply her partnership development expertise within the context of institutional investment operations, while maintaining focus on both financial performance and economic development impact. The project's success validated her approach to combining traditional investment analysis with stakeholder coordination and economic development consideration. The recognition that Victoria received from her successful transition to institutional investment leadership attracted attention from other major investment organizations and economic development entities, seeking similar expertise and partnership development and stakeholder coordination. Her success demonstrated that regional expertise and collaborative leadership approaches could be effectively scaled to address larger and more complex investment opportunities. Victoria's establishment of Pacific Innovation Ventures as a significant force within the Western United States investment community validated her decision to pursue organizational scaling while maintaining her commitment to collaborative partnership development and economic development impact. The fund's early success attracted additional capital commitments and investment opportunities that positioned it for continued growth and expanded influence. The professional recognition that Victoria achieved through her leadership of Pacific Innovation Ventures established her as a prominent figure within the institutional investment community while reinforcing her reputation as someone capable of creating value through innovative partnership approaches and stakeholder coordination. Her success demonstrated that authentic leadership and collaborative approaches could achieve exceptional results within sophisticated financial markets. Victoria's scaling decision had required her to leave behind the security and familiarity of her position at Cascade Community Bank, while embracing the challenges and opportunities associated with institutional investment leadership. Her successful transition validated her assessment of her capabilities and demonstrated her readiness for leadership responsibilities that matched the scope of her professional achievements and regional influence. The transformation of Victoria's professional structure and organizational capabilities through her leadership of Pacific Innovation Ventures had been accomplished while maintaining the collaborative approach and stakeholder focus that had characterized her previous success. Her ability to scale her operations while preserving her core values and strategic methodology established a foundation for continued growth and expanded impact. Victoria's family remained unaware of her transition to institutional investment leadership and recognition she had achieved within the business and investment community. Her departure from Cascade Community Bank had been explained to them as a career change to a financial services position, without details about her senior leadership role or the scope of her professional responsibilities and achievements. Victoria's establishment of Pacific Innovation Ventures as a prominent force within the Western United States investment community had attracted significant attention from both institutional investors and regional economic development organizations. However, her success had also generated competitive responses from established investment firms and consulting organizations that recognized the strategic value of her market position and collaborative approach to economic development. The emergence of sophisticated competition would test Victoria's ability to maintain her competitive advantages while adapting her strategies to address evolving market dynamics. The first major competitive challenge emerged through the entry of Meridian Capital Partners, a San Francisco-based investment firm with over $3 billion in assets under management, into the Pacific Northwest economic development market. Meridian Capital Partners had established a regional office in Portland and had begun pursuing investment opportunities that directly competed with Pacific Innovation Ventures' target market segment. Their substantial resources and established institutional relationships provided significant competitive advantages that could undermine Victoria's market position. Meridian Capital Partners' competitive strategy emphasized leveraging their superior financial resources and institutional relationships to secure exclusive access to high-quality investment opportunities, while offering more aggressive pricing terms than smaller regional competitors could match. Their approach represented a direct challenge to Victoria's collaborative partnership model, instead focusing on traditional institutional investment approaches that prioritized financial returns over stakeholder coordination and economic development impact. The competitive pressure from Meridian Capital Partners required Victoria to carefully evaluate her strategic positioning and competitive advantages to determine how Pacific Innovation Ventures could maintain its market position while addressing the challenges posed by a larger and better-resourced competitor. Her analysis revealed that her competitive advantages lay primarily in her deep understanding of regional market dynamics, her extensive network of established relationships, and her proven expertise in stakeholder coordination and partnership development. Victoria's response to the Meridian Capital Partners competition emphasized differentiating Pacific innovations through superior market knowledge, collaborative partnership approaches, and comprehensive stakeholder value creation that extended beyond traditional financial return. Her strategy focused on demonstrating that her fund's approach generated better long-term outcomes for both investors and portfolio companies through enhanced operational support and strategic partnership facilitation. The differentiation strategy that Victoria developed included establishment of comprehensive value-added services for portfolio companies that leveraged her extensive network of business relationships and operational expertise. These services included strategic planning support, partnership facilitation, operational improvement consulting, and access to specialized resources that could accelerate company growth and enhance competitive positioning within their respective markets.
Victoria's implementation of enhanced value-added services required expansion of Pacific Innovation Ventures' operational capabilities and the recruitment of specialized professionals who could provide technical expertise in areas such as technology commercialization, regulatory compliance, and international market development. Her approach emphasized building capabilities that would be difficult for larger competitors to replicate due to their more standardized operational approaches and institutional constraints. The second major competitive challenge emerged through the establishment of the Western States Economic Development Fund, a collaborative initiative between several state governments that provided public sector capital for economic development projects throughout the region. The fund represented a different type of competition, as it could offer more favorable financing terms and regulatory support than private sector investors, while pursuing similar investment opportunities. Victoria's analysis of the Western States Economic Development Fund revealed both competitive threats and potential collaboration opportunities. The fund's public sector mandate and resources provided significant advantages for certain types of projects, but also created operational constraints and decision-making processes that could limit their effectiveness in pursuing time-sensitive opportunities or supporting companies requiring rapid strategic adaptation. The strategic response that Victoria developed for addressing public sector competition emphasized positioning Pacific Innovation Ventures as a complementary partner that could provide operational flexibility and private sector expertise to enhance the effectiveness of public sector investment programs. Her approach focused on creating collaborative structures that would enable both organizations to achieve their objectives while avoiding direct competition for the same investment opportunity. Victoria's partnership development efforts with the Western States Economic Development Fund resulted in establishment of a formal collaboration agreement that created systematic processes for coordinating investment activities and sharing due diligence resources. The partnership enabled Pacific Innovation Ventures to access larger investment opportunities while providing the public sector fund with enhanced operational capabilities and private sector market insight. The third competitive challenge emerged through the expansion of several established consulting firms into economic development advisory services that directly competed with Victoria's strategic consulting practice. These firms possess significant resources, established client relationships, and specialized expertise that could threaten Victoria's market position in providing strategic advisory services to corporations and economic development organizations. Victoria's response to consulting competition emphasized leveraging her unique combination of investment experience, operational expertise, and proven track record in partnership development to differentiate her advisory services from traditional consulting approaches. Her strategy focused on providing integrated advisory services that combined strategic planning with access to capital resources and implementation support that consulting firms could not match. The integrated advisory approach that Victoria developed included comprehensive engagement models that addressed strategic planning, implementation support, and ongoing partnership facilitation through a single coordinated relationship. Her clients appreciated the efficiency and effectiveness of working with one advisor who could provide both strategic guidance and access to the resources necessary for successful implementation. Victoria's competitive positioning also benefited from her established reputation for successful project execution and stakeholder coordination, which provided credibility advantages that newer market entrants could not immediately replicate. Her track record of delivering measurable results for clients and portfolio companies established trust relationships that were difficult for competitors to overcome through marketing efforts or pricing strategy. The fourth competitive challenge arose through changes in regulatory environments and institutional investment policies that affected the funding landscape for economic development projects throughout the western United States. Federal policy changes related to infrastructure investment and regional economic development programs created new opportunities for some organizations, while imposing constraints on others. Victoria's analysis of regulatory changes revealed both challenges and opportunities for Pacific Innovation Ventures' investment strategy. New federal infrastructure programs provided access to larger projects and enhanced funding opportunities, but also increased competition from national investment organizations and created more complex regulatory compliance requirements that could affect project timelines and operational flexibility. The strategic adaptation that Victoria implemented in response to regulatory changes included expansion of Pacific Innovation Ventures' regulatory compliance capabilities and establishment of specialized partnerships with organizations that possessed expertise in federal procurement processes and infrastructure project management. Her approach enabled the fund to pursue larger opportunities while maintaining operational efficiency and stakeholder focus. Victoria's management of competitive pressures also included systematic monitoring of competitor activities and market trends to identify emerging threats and opportunities that could affect Pacific Innovation Ventures' strategic position. Her competitive intelligence activities provided early warning of market changes and enabled proactive strategic adjustments that maintained the fund's competitive advantage. The innovation initiatives that Victoria developed in response to competitive pressures included establishment of new service offerings and investment products that leveraged Pacific Innovation Ventures' unique capabilities while addressing emerging market needs. These innovations included specialized investment vehicles for technology commercialization, infrastructure development partnerships, and regional economic development initiatives that competitors could not easily replicate. Victoria's leadership during the competitive challenges demonstrated her ability to maintain strategic focus while adapting to evolving market conditions. Her emphasis on preserving core competitive advantages while continuously improving operational capabilities and service offerings enabled Pacific Innovation Ventures to maintain its market position despite increased competitive pressure. The financial performance of Pacific Innovation Ventures during the period of intensified competition validated Victoria's strategic responses and competitive positioning decisions. The fund achieved superior returns compared to competitors while maintaining high levels of investor satisfaction and portfolio company success. These results reinforced the effectiveness of Victoria's collaborative approach and stakeholder-focused investment methodology. The recognition that Victoria received from her successful management of competitive challenges enhanced her reputation within the institutional investment community and economic development organizations throughout the western United States. Her ability to maintain market leadership while addressing sophisticated competition established her credibility for pursuing larger opportunities and expanded market presence. Victoria's experience with managing competition also provided valuable insights into market dynamics and strategic positioning that enhanced her effectiveness as an investment professional and strategic advisor. The knowledge and capabilities she developed through addressing competitive challenges positioned her for continued success in an increasingly competitive and sophisticated market environment. The competitive landscape that Victoria successfully navigated during this period established Pacific Innovation Ventures as a resilient and adaptable organization, capable of maintaining market leadership through strategic innovation and operational excellence. Her leadership during challenging market conditions demonstrated the strength of her strategic methodology and the sustainability of her competitive advantage. Victoria's management of competitive pressures had been accomplished while maintaining the collaborative approach and stakeholder focus that had characterized her success throughout her professional development. Her ability to adapt her strategies while preserving core values and operational principles established a foundation for continued growth and market leadership despite evolving competitive dynamics. Victoria's family remained unaware of the competitive challenges she had successfully addressed and the strategic leadership she had demonstrated in maintaining Pacific Innovation Ventures' market position. Her professional achievements continued to be invisible to them, as they perceived her work in financial services as routine employment rather than senior executive leadership of a major regional investment organization. Victoria's successful navigation of competitive challenges had strengthened Pacific Innovation Ventures' market position, while demonstrating her capacity for strategic adaptation under pressure. However, the evolving investment landscape and increasing complexity of regional economic development requirements demanded innovation beyond traditional investment approaches. The breakthrough that would define the next phase of Victoria's professional evolution emerged through her recognition that sustainable competitive advantage required fundamental innovation in how investment organizations created value for stakeholders across entire economic ecosystem. The catalyst for Victoria's innovation breakthrough occurred during her analysis of persistent challenges facing technology commercialization efforts throughout the Pacific Northwest region. Despite significant investment in research and development infrastructure, the region continued to experience substantial gaps between university research capabilities and successful commercial application. Traditional venture capital approaches had proven inadequate for addressing the unique challenges of technology transfer in secondary metropolitan areas with limited institutional investment infrastructure. Victoria's comprehensive study of technology commercialization challenges revealed that existing investment models failed to address the interconnected nature of innovation ecosystems, which required coordination between universities, established corporations, emerging company and government entities with different objectives, timelines, and success metrics. The complexity of these relationships demanded innovative approaches that could align diverse stakeholder interests, while supporting the extended development timelines required for sophisticated technology commercialization. The innovation framework that Victoria developed addressed technology commercialization challenges through creation of integrated innovation ecosystems that provided comprehensive support for technology development, business formation, and market development within coordinated organizational structures. Her approach emphasized establishing sustainable relationships between research institutions and commercial entities while providing patient capital and strategic support throughout extended development cycles. Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.